everyone! This video is going to be a little different. In this video, I won't be drawing, but instead I'm going to talk about what I would like to improve in my drawings. This video is mainly for me, so that maybe in the future I can look back and see the difference if I have improved or not, and to define what I need to work on. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about when I started drawing. Like most human beings, I've always loved to draw. I'd spent most of my spare time drawing, but it was when I was between 7 and 9 years old that I decided to improve. I'd say what influenced my art style when I was younger was the chibi art style. That style many people had with big round ears and eyes. It was anime that improved my art style. To learn how to draw, I simply put a sheet of paper over a computer screen and traced the image that was on the screen with a pencil. But the problem is, I don't think I ever studied art. Of course, they teach techniques in school, but they don't teach you how to draw. I just got better, maybe by watching others draw, but I've never followed the steps of a tutorial. And I feel like, in a way, my drawing progress has suffered because of it. And that's one of the reasons why I created a YouTube channel, to encourage myself to learn and try new things. But I need to have goals. Until now, I have never had a specific art style goal. I've always just drawn without any particular artist influencing my art style. But now I've finally found the artists who will motivate me. The first artist I found was Frederick Layton. I was so excited to finally see someone whose art is so detailed and conveys a feeling, I don't know how to explain it, that tells the story. It looks so realistic, yet there are those soft elements that show it's a painting, but it gives you that sense that you are right there and that it's a reality that's somehow calm. That's the reason I love this artist. The second artist I found was John William Waterhouse, and you have probably seen at least one of his paintings. He paints a lot of mythical themes, legends, and stories. The realism that I brought up before is certainly in his work too, but it doesn't have the same softness. His paintings are incredible. I can't look at them without thinking I would absolutely love to create something like that. I want my style to be somewhat similar to theirs, but I also want to incorporate something unique, something of my own that is now a part of my art style. But right now, I'm not very happy with my current art style. I love my drawings and the way I paint. It's just that the style I have sometimes isn't something I look at and think, this represents me. I don't feel connected to my own style, but that's okay because I'm just on my way to my goal. I still have a lot to improve on characters' faces. I'd like to draw slightly more realistic faces. I think I make the eyes too big, and I lack variety in face shapes. I've been experimenting for a while. Hard to say if it's working, but at least I'm trying. The other issue is facial expressions. My characters all have the Mona Lisa face. And the most important thing, different head angles. My drawings are almost always facing the same side. I don't really do complicated poses in my drawings, and most of them aren't even full body. Also, a lot of the poses are super similar. I really need to start practicing. Someone recommended I start doing gesture drawing, which is where you do fast dynamic sketches to capture the essence of movement and the subject's action, rather than just the exact figure. Someone also said,
The first thing that stuck out to me was your ends. They are all relatively in the same pose and such, with not much variety. Middle two fingers stuck together, palm usually out, and not resting on anything.
I think the end problem is also linked to the pose problem. It's not that I don't know how to draw ends, but I lack creativity for poses. So I think, how should I position the ends? I've started trying to change this, but for me it's not enough. It feels like my drawings have no emotion at all. They lack meaning. I don't think I've ever drawn two or more characters interacting in the same drawing. This also makes my drawings feel a bit empty, and most of the times there is nothing in a drawing besides the character. I also need to start doing more backgrounds for my drawings. I've tried before and it looked good, but then I tried again on another drawing and I just got lazy. The part of my drawings that people compliment the most is the way I render skin. But rendering is still something I really need to improve. I don't use line art, so if the rendering is off, the whole drawing is off too. A person from a Discord group made me realize a flaw. They said,
They all look greasy.
I think it's because I use too much white in the drawings, and then I add too much red to the face, and it just doesn't look natural. Later, they clarified.
I don't think it's actually using too much white that has the largest hand in making them look greasy, but rather how smoothly blended all the shadows and colors are.
I totally see that in my drawings too. The thing is, I think if I leave everything too sharp, it ends up losing the realism. When I look at references of real people, there aren't many sharp details, but I don't like the greasy look either. I'll need to figure out some kind of middle ground. I'm also going to start training to improve how I render clothes. That's something I've always struggled with, mainly because of my issue with using the blending smudge tool. But I think I'm already getting better. Studying it will definitely help even more. My character designs are too simple. Their clothes are really basic, and they barely have any accessories. I prefer those more complicated ones that show more of the characters' personalities through their outfits, the ones that are full of color and tell a story about them. I watched some videos about character design, but most of them focus on less realistic characters, saying they need a strong, recognizable silhouette. But how do I do that in my style? And they never explain why it's only considered a good design if it has a strong silhouette. Why is that? And why is a silhouette that is more detailed than Mickey's, who they are always using as an example, considered bad? Other parts are easier to understand, like color theory, that each color has to match and or reflect a bit of the character's personality. And I do that. I've been thinking about changing my channel's character for a while now, because I feel like she doesn't represent me. But she's the one people compliment the most out of all of them. I think she is simple, so why do so many people like her? I've already tried to make some characters to replace her, but none of them turn out well, and none of them feel like they represent me. So, these are all the things I want to work on. My goal now is to dedicate time to the fundamentals that I skipped when I was younger. Thank you for watching. Bye!